fine. I did not expect that to set me off. I am not going to cry. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I started filming this and the ramble. So just prepare yourselves because I really feel like I've got something stuck in my throat as I'm talking. It feels very vulnerable and overwhelming, but this is the reason that I split this Q&A up. So I did a Q&A earlier in the week that was all fun. Will you move house? How are you feeling about this? Talking about candles and like designer purses, all the fun stuff. And I got so many questions that were mental health related that I thought I'm going to do a separate video. So this is the separate video and we're going to get into it. I'm going to be very self-indulgent. I'm going to talk about my feelings. That might not be for you, but that is what this video is going to be. So the first question is, how are you? Whew, how long have you got? I would say I'm fine, honestly. I would say if someone asked me in the street, I'm fine. I am fine. In theory, I'm thriving, doing really, really well. Everything's going great. I'm super busy in all the best ways. Everything is theoretically great. There is nothing wrong, but I am not fine and I don't know why. Someone asked me this week, last week, I don't know, in a vlog, if I'd considered that I could have clinical depression. I'm like, yes, I've considered it. It's what I was diagnosed with. 2 years ago, they told me I had moderate anxiety and depression. They medicated me as accordingly. And I took stuff for 6 months and decided it was not for me. I don't believe that that is in and of itself the problem. I think that depression is a symptom of untreated ADHD, of which I am undiagnosed, but that is what I believe. Unfortunately, that does not make the symptoms of that, does not make the depressive feelings less, because I don't believe that they are like the thing. I don't believe that they are the source. It doesn't make them less. It did for a while give me a little bit of comfort, but knowing that I could be years and years away from that being assessed and from that being potentially treated is starting to really wear on me, because it feels as if I have an illness and I know that I have an illness and it is affecting my daily life, but it can't be dealt with for years. And I think that someone told me recently that the adult wait time is 7 years. I am really seriously considering a private consultation at this point. I mean, it's huge sums of money once you get on the private cycle of everything. And if you want to DM me separately about this, we can have a conversation. But that's kind of how I'm feeling at the moment. I feel like that's a lot of my overwhelm, is the feeling of there's no end point to this, because I believe so strongly that is what's causing this. Whether it is or not, because I believe that it is, it's feeling insurmountable. I am not going to cry. Not. So, I just kind of wanted to let's just get that out up front. That is how I'm feeling. I cannot explain in one word. It would be impossible. That is how I'm feeling. I am feeling it's such a way where, let me tell you what I've been doing that I think is actually weird, even for me. Even Lee's commented on it. He's told people about it as if it's like, oh, she's doing this crazy thing. But I am actually starting to worry that it is a weird thing. Like, even like a super weird thing. I've been watching this show called Palm Royale. It's on Apple TV. I would recommend it because I've watched it so many times. I really, really, really enjoy it. But it's possibly obsessive at this point. So they gave us like 2 episodes at first. So I watched those 2 episodes on a loop until we got the 3rd episode. And then I watched those 3 episodes on a loop until we got the 4th episode. I think we're on 7 now. I have watched those episodes. Yesterday, I watched all 7 of them twice, just in one day. And we've got 2 more days until the next one comes out. It's getting too much. Lee will just come in the living room and he's like, yeah, you're watching it again. He came home yesterday. I made the dinner. We sat down and watching the show, and he put something on to watch with Milo, and it's like a physical pain. I just want to watch that show. I just don't want to watch this. I could cry having to hear something else. And I don't think that's normal. Anyway, because I've been vlogging every single day, I'm giving you too much access to my psyche. This is what happens when I vlog every single day. I wrote a blog post to try and like organize my thoughts on this topic before we did this video, and I definitely have come to the conclusion I love vlogging every day. It actually gives me, weirdly, a really good routine. I feel better when I'm vlogging every day. I feel more connected with you guys, and I feel like there is a purpose to this, which is really nonsense. Like, there isn't a purpose to YouTube other than entertainment, but I feel like there is when I'm doing it every day, and it feels more connected. So I love it, but I'm also so much more aware of myself, my emotions, everything when I'm doing it every day, and it like feeds back into itself. So I will talk about on day 1, I'm feeling a bit like this. On day 7, I'm still getting people watching day 1, seeing comments from day 1, and it brings me way back into it. So I'm always in a bit of a, how am I feeling? How am I feeling when I'm daily vlogging for that reason? And on top of that, people love to diagnose me and tell me how to feel better. Now, I truly believe all of this comes from a place of, if not love, concern, or just truly like a good place. I do not think that anybody, once upon a time, but not these days, the people that watch my videos are like nice people. I could not be more appreciative of how nice you guys are. The core people who still continue to watch my videos are good people. They are my people. I really appreciate you. And I know that when people leave these comments, it is coming from the same place as like, you know, like when your mom tells you, like the same thing as Milo says he's got a headache and Lee's like, well, stop being on your phone all the time. He's not a hater. He's not like criticizing Milo. He actually wants the best for him. And he thinks maybe if you stop being on your phone all the time, you'll feel better. So keep that in mind when I tell you the next few questions. One of them, do you think working from home and not leaving the house contributes to you feeling low? Yes, 100% it does. Absolutely. And I totally appreciate this question came from that place. That said, I don't think that it is the source of feeling low. I know for a lot of people it was, and I do think that it made things worse for me. I think that being home all the time made things worse for me. I definitely feel better as well when I'm talking to you guys, when I'm vlogging, when I'm making videos, and I've really dropped off content-wise in the past year because of the candles. I just have not had the same amount of time. And so I think that's kind of brought me down as well, because although I'm home alone all day, I've been talking to you guys all day. So it doesn't feel like I've been alone. It doesn't feel as isolated as it would when I'm really alone. Do you know what I mean? Crazy as that sounds. So my theory is, although it has had a negative impact, I think that more than the being at home, it is that I've not been as distracted. So I think when I was out of the house doing things all the time, I was more, look over here, just like, always something like don't have enough time to like ruminate and think, and I wasn't as in my head as I am now. So I don't think that it is the being at home that has made me feel low so much as it is I have too much time with my thoughts, and I don't have as many distractions from myself. I think that that's the real problem. Ever tried setting a 15-minute timer daily to get on top of the cleaning and to feel a dopamine hit? Again, coming from a place of love. And yes, I have absolutely thought of that. I've shared a lot this month about the way that I live, and I don't feel like, it's all oversharing, but that's what I do. I don't regret that. I don't feel like, oh, I wish I'd not. I'm over that now. A few years ago, I was very like, oh, I wish I'd not said that. I wish I'd not. No, this is who I am, and I think a lot of that comes from the recognition of ADHD, because prior to that, I felt so ashamed. I felt so much shame in, oh, this could get me. I felt so much shame in how I lived and how disorganized I was internally and externally. And now I have so much more acceptance of myself and just like, do you know what? This is, first of all, not my fault. That's huge. But people are different. I'm not wrong. I'm not broken. I'm just different, and that's okay. And so I think that's a huge part of it, and why I just am like, I'm sitting next to a bit of crumpled paper. This is paper that I used to wrap my candles. It just is. On the floor, I've got some stuff that I've just taken off this sofa so I could sit here. This is just how I live. I want to be tidy. I want to be. My husband is so tidy, and I really don't tell him enough how much I appreciate the fact that he never says anything about how untidy I am. It must just like destroy him inside. Because I can't. I don't have the mental bandwidth to worry about all of the things at once. Like, I'm looking over there and there's candles that need to be wrapped and boxed. And I'm like, right, okay. There's also ones that I need to be finished pouring in there. I've set the wax thing off to do that with. I'll do that. Then they need a certain amount of time to cure. I need to get everything out to package the candles, which makes a mess. Once I finish that, I'm going to be so tired. But I also need to edit these videos. Then by the time I finish that, it's going to be time to go and get Milo. Then I need to think about dinner. It's just... it feels like it never ends. It feels like it never ends. And so, yes, I have absolutely done the 15-minute timer thing. It works really well for me. How I tend to do it is not intentional, but like 5 minutes before I need to go somewhere, that is my time to shine. I can get so much stuff done. I can clean the kitchen in 5 minutes before I need to be somewhere. It's like turbo. I like a switch that I can flip. If only I had a bit more control of it. But yes, I have. And so many people recommend things like this. Another one. Do you think trialing eating clean and regular exercise could help improve your mood? Probably, yeah. I have just ordered HelloFresh again for the next few weeks because I know that eating rubbish does nothing for me in so many ways, but it's not benefiting me. And so whatever I can do to make it easier to eat well, which HelloFresh does, not sponsored. It just does. It's literally a meal delivery service. I don't mind cooking. It's everything else. It takes the mental load out of deciding what to have, doing all of the... Even if Lee does the shopping, I still have to make the list. I still have to make the decisions, and then I do the cooking. He does so much, don't get me wrong. But the cooking part, that is why I love HelloFresh so much. So yes, probably. And the exercise part. I know that exercise helps me, but it's that initial, just do it. Like, I've got some leaflets that I want to hand out for the business. And I keep thinking that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to do that. And then I think, oh, but I've got, now it's 12:20. So when I finish this, I'll do the candles and then I'll label this and then I'll edit this video. And then it's time to go and get Milo. And when do I exercise? I don't know. I need to make time for it. But when I already feel like the list is longer than the hours that I've got, I don't know when I can make that time. That said, it's literally for my health, and I probably should. So many questions about motivation. One of them, what helps you motivate yourself to do something you need to do but don't want to do? There's nothing. There's nothing. I'll tell you what motivates me to do something I need to do, but that I don't want to do. A deadline. So if someone tells me, oh, you need to do this thing, whatever it is, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do that. And I need to do it by next Wednesday. I'll do it on Tuesday night. That's the only thing. I cannot be a source of motivation help. I am really sorry. What is one goal you are working towards right now? That is a great question. I feel at the moment like my biggest challenge is this. My biggest challenge is trying to get myself back on an even keel. I use the analogy all the time of spinning plates, and I get that it's like, you know what I'm saying, but imagine there are so many spinning plates and I keep adding them instead of taking them away. And these days it feels so rare for them all to be spinning nicely. I feel like there's always a couple that need my attention, and I'm always waiting to get them all spinning nicely before I'm like, okay, now let's sit down and really assess, or now let's take a break. Now, I have to find a way to, like I said before, fit in actual self-care, so like exercise, caring for myself, sleep. I have been going to bed too late. Like, it's been a few times recently where I've just stayed up till 3 or 4 because that's where the time is. If you need extra time, that's where it is. Staying up late or getting up early is the only place to find extra time. And so I've been doing that, but it's having a really negative knock-on impact because I just don't have there's not enough hours in the day for the things that I have committed to. I think that's part of the problem. And so that is a major, major goal, because I've got lots of little goals, lots of like things that I want to be doing for like the candle business, for YouTube, for whatever. But everything feels unattainable because I don't have time to work on anything special. At the moment, it feels like just too much, truthfully. What are your top 3 tips for when you're feeling a bit flat or crap? So I think in May, I'm going to do a bit of a push in terms of content on this. I'm going to do some 5 a.m.s. I'm going to like try and reset a little bit. I'm not going to be vlogging every day. So that is going to be like one of the plates down. And I'm going to try. Plus, I'm doing a lot of work for the candle stuff at the moment for the summer launch that I'm not going to have to do in May. So this month has just been a little bit insane. I mean, it's not even just overwhelming. It's like actually too much. So I really am hoping that in May, I'm going to have more time to make some changes and to improve some things. But we'll come back to that because I do have things that I do to help me. I don't know whether they'll help you, but I think that will be worth talking about in and of itself. Oh, this one slipped through the net from the last video. What do your kids think about your YouTube channel? Has that changed as they've gotten older? Truthfully, they just don't care at all. Neither of them has ever said anything negative, not even like to be a bit of a dick, because you know kids can be. Neither of them has ever, whether this is true or not, I don't know why they wouldn't tell me, because we're very open, and like even if they said it, I think we could still have a joke about it. They've never said they've been embarrassed. I've always said, like, just don't tell your friends. They're not going to know. They're just not going to know. Like, if my kids have got social media, I make sure that I'm not following them and that they're not following me. People can't find us that way. Or at least when Ella was at school, because she's got a different name to me. But it's never been, I've always been very conscious and not wanting to be a source of embarrassment for my kids. And I don't think I have been, but it's one of those things that I'm never going to know, maybe until they're much older. As is, they don't seem to think anything. If anything, Milo thinks it's cool because it's a lot of subscribers and, you know, teenagers. And Milo does a lot of like content stuff. He does YouTube stuff. He does like a lot of like stop motion and things. So we have a lot in common in terms of editing, and we have a lot of conversations about YouTube and social media. He's really great at like short form stuff. But I don't think I've been a source of embarrassment, but I suspect it's difficult to get through your children's childhood without embarrassing them. I hope that in years to come, I don't find out that it was like, oh my God, this was so traumatic. But I don't know. What are 3 things that bring you absolute joy? Man, oh man. So I did something at the beginning of this year that I have not kept up with very well. I mean, I had a couple of things that I was trying to do all the time that I didn't. But one of them was a weekly post on my blog where I talked about weekly wins. I definitely need to get back into the habit. I only missed a few weeks, but I definitely, for May, I'm kind of resetting. And one of the things is I definitely need to get back into my weekly wins, because it was, the purpose of it was to share just whatever I felt like were wins that week. A little bit of gratitude. And it really helped just to see little things that you don't like. This week, for example, I finished the garden pretty much as I'm going to finish it for now. And Emma and Chris were here, and I had the lights on, and it was actually too cold to be outside, but I went outside to turn off the lights at the end of the night and thought, this is like a Pinterest garden now. This is the garden a few years ago I would have been, I can't believe. I mean, I still can't believe, but I'm looking outside now, and I've got my swing, which I've always wanted, the porch swing, not a porch, but still, the gorgeous pergola, the nice, like, set out outdoor furniture, the fire pit, everything about it, all of the flowers and the plants have come in really nicely. It's spring. I want to spend more time outside this year, and just that truly brings me joy. I love seeing things flower. I planted a wisteria a few years ago, and it's gone from strength to strength. I mean, it's like it could take over the house, truthfully. I'm glad that I've planted it along the fence and not near the house, because might have nightmares about it taking over the house, like coming in through the window. It's growing like crazy. But that truly brings me joy. Another example is of things that you just don't think of. When the children want to spend time with me, and it was their idea. So when Milo comes downstairs and asks if you want to watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch, for example, there are a few things we watch together, but we've been watching that from the beginning. And there are certain days when he comes home from school and he seems to be more available than others. On Mondays, he usually comes home and we'll watch Sabrina and he'll have his tea. And that feels really nice. I don't know at this point, I think this will have gone up by before then, but Ella and I are going to go to a concert together for a singer that we both like in a few weeks. And it feels nice to be on that side of parenting where they're older and they maybe don't need you as much, but they actually want to spend time with you. That's a source of joy, 100%. And then, I mean, just to like be super obvious, but I don't talk about Lee very much, and I don't talk about like marriage and relationships and things. But I really, really appreciate that. I mean, you know, I did just tell you the stuff. Oh man, I did not expect that to set me off. I did mention earlier how much I appreciate him for not, it doesn't appear to be constantly irritated by me. And I feel like he probably should, but he doesn't seem to be. And, you know, you see people talk about relationships when they've been together for a long time and they're like, well, you know, we've been together for a long time, so ... fill in the blank. And I don't feel any of those things. Like, we've been married 12 years. 12 years? Yeah. And I don't know. I still feel in love. I still feel like I'm really happy. And I really, really appreciate that because, I mean, you know, I've been divorced. I've been in relationships that didn't work out. I'm not stupid. I don't think that all marriages have a happily ever after, because they don't. But that, on my worst days, when I can come home and feel like my family life is everything I would want it to be, that's definitely a source of joy. Like, that's not a given. That's not a guarantee. I like the people I live with. I like my husband. I like my children. Of course I love them, but I actually want to spend time with them. And when we go to New York in May, I'm really excited to have like a slightly more grown-up trip. We're already planning a trip. We're going to go in 2026. We're going to do LA, Palm Springs and Vegas, and it's going to be my 40th year and Ella's 21st. I'm excited. I'm excited about like the family unit that we will have once everyone's a grown up. And, you know, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get along with your kids, but I feel like we're headed in the right direction. Oh man. Do you see what I mean? Like, when you really make the effort to think about things that bring you joy, think about your little wins, it really sends you down a path that you are not expecting to go down. Right, the last one. How do I get my ass off this sofa and do the 5-minute job I've been putting off for 6 months? Again, going back to the previous one, I'm gonna definitely do some stuff in May about this, because in spite of everything that I said at the beginning, when, you know, we were wobbly, and I'm bearing my vulnerable, this is how terrible I'm feeling. Even on my worst day, it's like the Taylor Swift song. I cry a lot, but I am so productive. I can get so much done. I don't give myself enough credit, and that is one thing that lots of people in the vlog say. I feel like I'm not getting anything done because my list is like 100 things and I'm doing 20, but I'm still doing 20 things. I can get a lot of stuff done even on my worst day. That's not necessarily the right way to live, but I do think that I probably do have some hacks or some tips for people who aren't like me, but could maybe benefit from like the occasional push to get things done. Because I have that. I have that. It might mean staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, but I get things done. That was a lot. I don't know how I'm going to feel about that when I come to edit, because it's a lot. It's just a lot. And I also, again from the beginning, I really appreciate everyone that wants to give me advice, everyone that wants to diagnose me. I have been diagnosed with so many things via YouTube. I mean, ADHD was the top one, but fibromyalgia, people tell me all the time, TMJ, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I mean, I had a counsellor last year and she thought I had ME. So many people, from the things that I say, I think you've got this. I think you need to have blood work done. I think you need to have XYZ. I am going to see a private GP soon, I've decided. And I'm going to give them a full rundown of like, this is how I'm feeling. These are all the things. Could these things be related? There are, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to really try and think of every single symptom that you just disregard because it's been so long. I've got tinnitus to the point where when I'm super stressed out, I can't even hear the TV because my ear is whooshing so much. But it's been for so long and so common that I just stop. I don't even think to mention it. So I think there's lots of things that I maybe do need to talk to someone about. And I am actively doing that. So don't think that I'm not. I am actively looking to get help. I think I'm going to try something different in terms of medication. I still think that it's not going to be it until it's something to do with ADHD, but I know I'm still a long, long way off that. So I need something in the meantime, because I truly, at this point in time, feel like I can't go on like this. I need something to help me. And maybe in amongst that, I also need to help myself, like the diet and exercise, like the, getting out of the house thing. But I need it to be in a way that I'm actually going to do it. I saw that thing about 75 hard the other day and thought, I need you have to do this for a certain amount of time and then we'll see. It needs to be like a fun challenge. We need to make it so that it's interesting and exciting, or I won't do it. So any suggestions for that, please. But please don't tell me I've got a particular disorder, because it's not helpful. I can't go to a doctor and say, someone on YouTube thinks I've got Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. They're just going to be like, well, you haven't. Cool. Great. But I will swing that, throw that by a private GP when I have a long consultation. Could it be any of these things that people on the internet have told me I've got? And I will let you know. But yeah, thanks for watching. Man, that felt really self-indulgent. And sometimes it feels like, but at the same time, I think it's worth talking about, because a lot of how I'm feeling, I know I'm not the only one feeling that way. And like with the whooshing in my ear, sometimes you hear something, or sometimes you experience something for so long, it starts to be normal, starts to feel normal. And then when you hear someone else say it, you go, that's not normal. You shouldn't have to live like that. And maybe it will trigger someone else to make some changes too. And in May, maybe you can join me on my attempt at resetting things and just feeling better.